Hey guys, welcome back to TezMania TV and happy Halloween! I went as a zombie Ronald McDonald for our Halloween party this year, and this is part 1 out of my becoming zombie Ronald McDonald. Today we're going to focus on the outfit. I started with buying this stretchy yellow fabric from a fabric store and a red 40 centimeter long zipper. I also have this old white shirt that I'm only going to use the collar of. The first thing I did was lay the fabric out double folded, and I put my Iron Fist onesie on top. I like the fit of that, so I'm just gonna shorten it and then use that as a stencil basically. So I'm just drawing all around that, adding some seam allowance, and then just cutting the whole thing out into 2 pieces. Just a front and a back, and both halves look the same. Just keeping things really simple here. Alright, the zipper is going to go down the middle of the front, and I'm just placing a marking pin at the bottom, and then I'm just going to cut out a slit for where the zipper is going to go. This is not the best way to sew a zipper on, but it's fast and effective, so that's what I'm doing. Next, I am pinning the 2 halves together, and we're going to sew the whole thing at once. So I'm going to sew the top shoulder parts, and then the entire side length, and then also the crotch seam. So it's just a really basic, simple romper. Once everything has been sewn together, I've laid it out with the insides facing outwards. And I'm gonna start by hemming all the now raw edges. I'm gonna start at the bottom of the legs and just fold that up about 1 centimeter or so, pin it, and then move on to the top of the romper, where I'm going to be repeating that same step, just folding the edges in and then pinning them down. And we're gonna start by sewing that into place. I'm using yellow thread, as you guys can see. I've now flipped the romper the correct way, and I'm going to sew the zipper on top of that slit that we cut. So I'm going to start by just pinning that in place, while I'm also pinning the neckline, which we're also just folding in to get a nice edge of. Once that has all been pinned, I'm going to sew the neckline first using that same yellow thread, and then I'm going to switch to red thread and sew the zipper on. Next, it's time to put the shirt on and mark about where it's gonna go. I'm gonna leave more than I'm gonna need just to make sure that everything fits well. So I'm gonna cut the sleeves off of the shirt and also cut the bottom off. So we're just gonna have the collar with some extra fabric around it. Once that has been cut out, I'm going to place it inside the romper, pin it in place until I'm happy with the placement. And it's looking like this right now. You see that I have some extra fabric, but that's fine. We're now gonna sew that on. I'm not going to sew across the zipper, obviously, because that way I won't be able to open it up. And we need to be able to get in and out of this thing. I've also left the 2 top buttons of the collar so that I can actually get it on. We now have a bunch of extra fabric from that shirt piece that I'm just going to cut off, and then the collar is on. After that, I'm going to use this white and red stripy shirt that I found in a thrift store. I'm just going to cut those cuffs off and distress it using my trusty fish scaler so that it really looks like a zombie, disgusting, yeah. I love those holes. Puppy approves. And next, I'm gonna put the McDonald's logo onto the piece. I just printed it out, cut it out, and then made a hole around it. And I am using red fabric paint and a stipple sponge for this. Don't forget to place a magazine inside of your onesie to protect it. Otherwise, the paint could go through to both layers, and we don't want that. And then I'm just gonna hold everything down and carefully stipple all that red into place. And it's okay that it's not a perfect logo because, again, this is a zombie version of Ronald McDonald, so it's okay that it looks a little iffy, like he's been on the ground for a while. There we go, all painted in, so I'm just carefully gonna remove that stencil, and after that, we're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna put this protective glove on and pour some red paint into my hand and make some disgusting bloody handprints over my beautiful costume. I'm also gonna do some spatter and just have some fun with the blood, really. I also put a little doll's hand on there because he eats kids now. He doesn't feed them, he feeds on them. And this kind of fabric paint you set by ironing. So just follow the directions on the paint that you're using. Next up, I am using my very old red Doc Martens. I'm just gonna switch to yellow laces, and then they are ready. And the costume is now prepared. Please make sure to stay tuned for part 2 of this video, where I'm going to be applying the makeup, and you're also going to see a little bit of our Halloween party. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, do no harm, but take no shit. I'll see you next time!